to a team that is going to be here on Thursday, the Michigan Wolverines. I want to take you back to Tony Petitti, the Big Ten Commissioner's press conference on Tuesday. He got asked a very interesting question. Producer River, play the question.
Adam King, 10 TV. There's a report out that you wrote a letter to the NCAA about the Michigan sign stealing scandal. Curious whether the letter happened or not. Do you believe that that should be put to bed, that the punishment that you issued is strong enough and that the investigation should be closed?
Yeah, well, the first part, I'm going to confirm that we did submit a letter. It's not uncommon in proceedings for a conference office to weigh in on. So I'm not going to address what the contents of the letter we sent are. And because it's an ongoing process, I don't think it's appropriate for me to comment about whether it's enough or not while there are individuals deliberating. I don't think that's the right thing to do in the process. Look, I will say, having gone through this, one thing to point out is I think when you think about the CSC and the discipline and what we're trying to build with the new entity, having an enforcement mechanism that just is faster is a priority, one that reacts more quickly. This is a system we have now. It's been in place for a long time. It functions the way it was built. But I do think there's this consensus among our colleagues that whatever we're building for the enforcement piece that's going to live inside the CSC, that it's got to be there. It's just difficult to be still talking about this, almost on 2 seasons after. So I think everybody agrees that part of the process should change.
Couple pieces to that. One, obviously, Tony Petitti is not going to reveal anything he said while the Committee on Infractions is still deliberating over the Connor Stallion stuff. His point of, hey, maybe 2 years beyond this thing, we probably shouldn't still be talking about this.
Yeah, there's two things here. One is, how can we get the Committee on Infractions to move a little bit quicker?
Yeah.
Because it does take forever to get to the bottom. And I know that some investigations are more complex than others, but it does seem that 2 years is quite
and what's
a long
amazing
time.
is they are actually somewhat fast tracking this thing, because I've been told by people who were at the hearing that they do expect the Committee on Infractions to rule on this thing before the season starts, which will be very interesting. And I'll be curious to see what people ask Sherrone Moore, because he is in the case, not attached to attached to a little bit of Connor Stallions. He deleted text messages from his phone from Connor Stallions, but did not wipe his phone, so then turned in his phone to the NCAA knowing they would recover the messages. So they did recover all the messages.
And there was nothing in there that was overly incriminating.
Right. Otherwise, you'd already know because they would have leaked it. But
do you think it's done? Or it should be done?
It should be done and over with. Like, should they receive any more punishment?
That's what I mean. Yeah, I don't mean like should the process be over. I mean, like,
they did break the rule as the rule was written. Like, but the thing is, and this is the problem with all of this, is punishing the people who were involved at the time. Like, Jim Harbaugh's gone. You can't do anything with him, because they would have attached it to him had he still been there, because he was the head coach. Connor Stallion's never going to work in college football again. Like, it's
okay. Let me ask you.
Okay.
If I stole something and you knew I stole something, but I didn't tell you what I stole or the value of what I stole, how would you punish me?
It's a good question.
That's the thing that I have a hard time with. It's like, okay, they literally suspended the head coach in their national championship season for some of their biggest games.
He was suspended for 6 games.
For the Ohio State game. He wasn't on the sidelines for half their games.
3 games for a different NCAA case, but yes.
So the problem with this, and will remain to be the problem, is we know the severity and or the lengths in which people affiliated with Michigan's program went to go get signs. What we don't know and can't know and will not know is how it benefited them and how extensive. I'm sure it benefited them. They wouldn't have done it if it didn't benefit them. But how extensively did it benefit them? And that's why
I don't think they're going to take the national title away.
People, like the thing is, like, what do people want? And like, I'm not talking to Ohio State fans because they're not, and I'm not talking to Michigan fans. I'm talking to people.
Everybody else.
Like, what do you?
I'm not sure everybody else is all that worried about it.
But like, I just don't know how to adequately punish something if I don't know how extensive the crime was.
Well, here's the thing:
do you punish the effort? The effort that went into it?
Well, here's what we know. Here's what we know. They have pre-suspended Sherrone Moore for 2 games. For the Central Michigan game, which there's a lot of irony in that. It's against the team that Connor Stallions
the spyglasses,
and then the Nebraska game. What I wonder is, because I at this point, they can't do anything to Jim Harbaugh. They can't do anything to Connor Stallions. So I'm not even worried about that. I'm only worried about what happens to Michigan going forward. And I think that's all everybody's except the mad Ohio State fans are worried about.
And how you like, I actually have some sympathy for the infractions committee because maybe they have information that we don't, but I don't think that they do. Because if they did, we would know.
Yeah.
How do you take a subjective infraction that may have been the reason they got their program back on track, or may have been the reason why they won by 17 instead of 14? I don't know how extensive it was. How do you? It goes right back to the analogy I gave you. Did I steal a piece of gum or did I steal someone's 401k?
And I think those guys have to figure out, those people in the room have to figure out how they feel about that.
Because even in the legal system, stealing isn't punished the same way.
None of it really matters to me in terms of, because I'm worried about what is going to affect Michigan now going forward. And so what could affect Michigan going forward is, does Sherrone Moore get suspended further? Because that's a big question.
I know, but if he gets suspended further, then is that warranted to you based on the information that we have?
Well, remember, they had him in that other case, the cheeseburger gate, one. So they have him as a what they call a repeat violator, and he is admitted to deleting the text messages. So the thing they accused him of, they've already got him admitting to. So it's almost cut and dried in that case. But the question is, how much do you punish? The school hopes that the 2-game self-imposed suspension is enough. I'm not sure.
But I think what people want to hear from us is, do you think it should be enough?
I don't care.
But you do care about how it impacts Michigan moving forward.
Exactly.
And that does.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I'll give you what I think will happen, and we'll see if this is what does happen. So there is supposed to be a ruling from the Committee on Infractions dropping before the season. I think there will be more games than the 2. I don't know if it's 4. I don't know if it's 3. I don't know if it's 5. I'll guess 4. I think it will be more than the 2, but here's what will happen. Michigan will appeal, have him serve the games he's already set to serve, and then see what happens. And if the appeal fails, which they usually do, you've kicked that can down the road and he misses the first 2 games of the next season.
Right. And if you miss those 2, I don't know what their non-conference schedule is, but if you pick the 2 that, whatever. But it's like, okay, well, we'll see you here a year from now. We'll talk about it again. Like, I'm tired of talking.
That's what I wanted to get to, because the more likely outcome of this is this gets stretched into another football season.
Yeah. I just have a hard time because I go on radio stations in Columbus a lot because of relationships I have.
Yeah.
And I am asked because people in Ohio are obsessed with this.
Of course. I'm sure the chat right now has just erupted between the Michigan fans and the Ohio State fans. And it's you cheated from the Ohio State fans. And it didn't make that big of a difference from the Michigan fans. And people will never, ever back off those positions. And I understand that.
And people ask me, though, like, what do you think should happen? And I'm like a very opinionated person that's not afraid to ruffle feathers. I legitimately don't know. Like, I don't even know how extensive Sherrone Moore's culpability in this is. Like, I don't have a good grasp of
I don't think they have a smoking gun, because if they did in those text messages, I think we'd be having a different conversation right now.
Yeah, I mean, or was it just a coordinator texting a support person that freaked out for a second?
Right.
Because they didn't find anything. So I just like, everyone's like, oh, well, they're going to get the death penalty, or they're going to vacate. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. I think the hay's in the barn on that.
I think the operating question going forward is, does Sherrone Moore have to miss more than the 2 games that he's been self-imposed?
And then if he does, is he the sacrificial lamb that Michigan puts out there on a platter because Jim Harbaugh's gone?
I don't think they put him out there on a platter
for a single game. I mean, for the deleting the text messages, maybe a game.
Well, here's what I think. Here's what I think happened.
Punishment if he's not even involved in it.
Here's what I think happened. He did admit to deleting the text messages, so he was going to get punished.
Yeah,
they understood that. They do the self-imposed 2 games. That was, I think, supposed to be the start of a negotiation, but then somebody there at Michigan leaked it, and once they leaked it, you can't negotiate anymore. It just cut the legs out from under Sherrone's people, from Michigan's people. And so there was no more negotiation. Then it was going to become whatever the committee wants to do. they're going to do. So we just have to wait and see what they do.
Yeah. So that's your Michigan preview. They're going to be here in Las Vegas.
And we're
later
still
today.
going to be talking about
And
this.
I'm sure that Sherrone Moore will be asked about it. And I'm assuming it won't be a very good
Can
answer.
we turn it to a little bit of football?
Sure. I mean, we've talked a lot about Michigan football
Yeah.
like this year, but it's just like, what do we think they're going to be? Are they going to be a 9-3 fringe playoff team that ruins other seasons, or are they going to be a year away still? I don't know.
I think much of that depends on Bryce Underwood and how good he is.
Yeah, I think.
And the development of their younger receivers.
Yeah, I don't know who the receivers are. That
Right.
would be a frightening thing for me. I think that Michigan is probably an 8-4-ish type team that has a chance to beat some teams. I don't know that I'm at the point where I believe that they are a playoff contender.
And again,
that's where I am.
We could be completely in a different
Bryce
place after
Underwood could be
the
Patrick
Oklahoma
Mahomes
game.
for all
Yeah,
we know. Like, I don't know.
we could have completely changed our mind after the Oklahoma game. So it's going to be a process with Michigan.
Michigan plays Oklahoma, Nebraska, and USC in the first half of their season. Those 3 games, all of which are on the road, are going to be important pillar games for those 3 teams on their conference.
Yeah,
or those opponents. Oklahoma, Nebraska, and USC seasons, I think, will be determined, or go a long way in determining how we feel about those teams going into the back half of the year too. So Michigan's interesting in that. How good are they going to be?
Yeah,
but Michigan's also interesting in that they have a lot of interesting cross sections of other teams that are very interesting, and how good they are is going to impact the entire discourse of the conference and some other teams like Oklahoma.
Yeah, and again, we don't know any of that probably until week 2. Now we'll get the committee on infractions deal before that. If they have a real sense of humor, they're going to drop that thing while Michigan's here on Thursday. But
Big Ten Media Days has in the past, and I've been to a lot of these, there's always somebody suspended or something happening.
Somebody drops the turd in the punch bowl.
Yeah, every time. So maybe that'll happen. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to visiting with him and visiting with more Michigan players, and certainly a very fascinating team to track going into the year.